Good day, Asia, my dear. I couldn't decide how to approach this video. Thank you for your patience. Maybe I should have gave myself a wider gap of turnaround time because this was emotionally testing, I guess, because I'm God. All right, like keeping it 100. When we first talked or when I first found out about your brother's passing, my first thought was that it was suicide. And this was just like my thought process. But it has, since I spoke with him, sort of given me like different vibes, which is why I asked, was he in participating in the vending or the what's the word? Consumption of drugs? Because definitely this was a accident on his end, whether it was overdose, because the cause of death is not there to explain it. The same way that you can see through your eyes now, like your hands sort of like in first person, POV, if you will. That's what happened. The last thing that happened when I was streaming with them was him sort of in the back of somebody's car and nervous. What I could not fully perceive was the actual death moment, because of course doing that, it's a spin out, because the next time that his vision came through after the car ride was in the hospital seeing the staff, and that was the last thing before like his eyes closed um, that I could see. So I could not tell if something happened, like he was on his way to purchase something and it was like a lick and he got like set up and taken for his money, because it was definitely something about his girlfriend not helping or not being who he thought she was. He trusted because of love, but it also could have even been a case of if he was on drugs, because like I said, the actual moment that whatever occurred happened, like taking too much and then being left. Either way, somebody abandoned him. But the blame he is taking into himself, um, like he knew better. He had been nervous about whatever transpired. When I asked who was responsible for his death, the card that says a bully popped up. Somebody who was a bully, a young man, which is what led me to feel like it was a setup of some sort, because there's a young man involved. I don't think he was perceived, your brother was perceived as a bully or anything like that with the energy that came through. Now, the message um, was that don't let them brush this under the rug. Don't let it just, don't avoid your own intuition and not get answers. There needs to be some sort of plan that comes up with, because this is going to be a process, he felt like, and he was wishing that you could feel his energy, or he's sending you strength through the process. There definitely needs to be a plan to come up with this. This was not how this was supposed to go. Um, he did not want to go, more so. Um, he did not pass alone. I know it was a question, but he passed amongst people in the hospital. Uh, the message was for you to be patient. Possibly even allow your spouse to help you process logic, because he believes that your feelings are blocking you. Um, your feelings of who he was and not who he was according to you and your relationship with him, because y'all had, your relationship wasn't as close as it was when y'all were younger. Um, let go of the version of him that you knew, because he's a different person. He was a different person by then. So listen to outside logic, because the feelings are sort of blinding you and understanding here, because he was betrayed. There was some deception here strategically that happened. Some female with some money. What job did he have? Would he have been walking around with a substantial amount of money? Was he in need of a substantial amount of money? Because this really, even for me, what based upon what he said down comes down to, he was the victim of somebody perpetuating a crime against him, or he was involved in a crime where things did not go wrong and he got left after things did not go right during this crime. So really, what how much money he had and what job he had would sort of make the difference. The message is, because I wrote everything down, he wants y'all to be happy and keep him in your heart. That's what keeps him alive and gives him the energy to come back and forth your sharing of his information, all the love that he's been receiving over there. When he passed away, his mood, it was very anxious. That kept popping up. Like he didn't speak up. He was nervous. It was too late for another plan. Once he realized things were going downhill, the girlfriend keeps popping up. Like it keeps coming into there was a female that somehow put him in this predicament despite his better judgment. He just really wanted to push that in there because something went wrong, unexpected. I wrote down a note here that maybe he was left for dead. Did he have a roommate? Was he in a roommate situation possibly? See, older black male I wrote down here because this was at 3 o'clock in the morning. Most of it's written out good, but when you're channeling, you sort of have to take what comes through. But I see a black older male, late 20s, early 30s was a note here. So what I'm going to do now is pull for what if he feels, just to pull from the universal energy to get an answer, not to call him out, because I think at this point it's important for him to be working on trying to send the messages around you guys, because I guess he's trying to have his own mystery solved for his peace so that he can go into, because I think your mom needs that. And that's really, he's not been able to get to you guys because of the emotional blockage. They can't connect if it is something that is going to make you sadder, I guess. The lower emotions, how about that? Because he's at a higher plane than your grief, if that makes sense. If grief and anger and sadness and confusion are all below reasoning, he's up here at reasoning, although he's like lower end because he's blaming himself, but not so much so that he's not willing to go forth once he feels justice has been done. In some sort of way, this is like the movie Ghost. That's what's going on right now. Like he's able to move around to get the thing done. So I'm going to pull for what does he feel like he could have done? What could he have done in this situation? These are the self-care cards because I'm trying to see what would have caused him to go out that had it end up this way. So, dear universe, what could Bell have done for himself to prevent what led to his passing? What could have been done? Was your brother gifted like you? Because it appears that he receives a form of warning in his dream, or he had deja vus or something that sort of let him know what the plan was, but he ignored them. Did you talk to him about his dreams? You know anybody that he would have talked to about his dreams or his nightmares? This really goes back to him not trusting his own intuition in the situation, which he really kept pressing as the feeling, like he knew, but love really was the Achilles. I would like to have a nice little text chat with you or voice note back and forth on this about any other questions you have. So we can, I know it's difficult to narrow down without your mom's help. So even if you need to reconvene after you know more information, that's fine too. But I wanted to get this out because it was heavy. Because when you talk to a spirit, you sort of take on their tone. And so I had to cry during the process, but the feelings lasted a few days afterwards. But it wasn't like a boohoo, like just somber. Like he was a thug, I guess I want to say, because he still has a sense of humor. You know your brother. But just to let the pain come out just slowly, just like, wow, this happened. So there's still sort of a shock for him. I don't think he'll be allowing himself to relax and accept fully what has happened here until he knows that all the chapters are closed and you guys understand what happened and there's a full picture here. So let me know if you've seen anything since, because he's been working to make sure y'all sort of do. Thank you, my love.